Hey all, next diorama is going to be Boba Fett. This is a commission piece for a mate of mine. He wanted Boba on a small dia base with a nice little scene on it, so I've decided to go with a damage scene of a hull section. Now Boba Fett, that's the pose he's going to be in. So once I glue all the joints and putty them up, I will then use tissue paper to cover the cloth areas to give it a more realistic look, and then paint over that. But I will show you that tutorial in this lot of videos. So with that, I'll just grab Boba off. Now the base is a big thick piece of balsa wood, nice and solid. You don't have to go nothing extreme. It's the individual, it's up to the individual. So yeah, I like my base is nice and light. There's nothing worse than having a heavier base. Then you've got a lighter diorama on top. This is going to be a rocky outcrop. So this is just high density blue foam. You can pick it up from any good hardware shop, or if you've got a gaming shop like Games Workshop next to you or around the road, just go and ask them if you can purchase some. They should be able to get it to you or purchase you some. It's brilliant. They use this for their building of their diorama scenes and their board gaming scenes. Now, to get this effect so far, all I've done is just use my fingers and pulled it apart. So that's how easy it is. But this will be covered over with spackfiller sand and small rocks, etc. Then this area will be covered in groundwork, maybe some I still don't know if I'm going to do this sand like a desert theme again or a small forest theme. I don't know yet. I'll decide that once I get to it. The client's not too fussed about it. Excuse me. Okay, the whole section itself is just two pieces of plastic card stuck together. I like the square sections because you can pull them apart and rip them apart really easy, and it makes for a realistic looking scene, especially with your hull. Plastic card pipes and tubes, and plastic card T-sections. So yeah, it's ripped it apart, pulled it apart. It gives it a good metal structure look once it's painted. The hull lines were done by scribing in with a ruler, then going across with a modelling knife, and then once I liked how deep it was, I went through with a small Dremel saw and just sawed straight into it. I didn't want it too perfect as it's been buckled and everything. The small pivot holes are done by marking out with a pencil, then using a small drill, hand drill, and then drilling them out. Okay, so this has got a base coat, two base coats of dark grey, then a base coat of medium grey, then a base coat of black, and then two base coats of medium grey again. I'll paint the whole red over this, so once I do put the next layer of paint over it, the whole red will come out. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not going to bore you with spray painting, as we all know how to do it. Okay, it's simple, it's not hard. I use Tamiya spray cans, and that's the only time I use spray cans or something like that. Everything else is hand painted. Okay, so on to the painting side of it now. I've got my whole red, Vallejo whole red, number 70985. You can pick that up from any good hobby shop. Now with that, I like to add a bit of water. Sorry guys, I'm not showing you that. So I like to add a bit of water, and I'm not too fussy if I've got excess paint over. It doesn't bother me because this here has lasted me 1.5 years. Okay, so it does last forever if you use it properly. Yeah, I have gone overboard, but like I said, it doesn't bother me. So with that, just go over it. Okay, you don't have to be perfect here. Okay, so as long as you get every section. Paint inside the tubes if they are hollow, that way it doesn't look silly. You've got different colours. Okay, and it's just nice and easy painting. Like I said, do not have to be perfect with this, okay? Like, there is 100 million techniques out there that everyone shows, and I'm not saying mine's correct by all means, but this is the way I do it. This is the way I do my rust. No, I lie. The way I used to do my rust was paint everything up like I'm doing now. Then I got some sandpaper or use my modelling knife and then rubbed away the areas I wanted to have the rust come through. And then with that, then I got paint brushes, and then I added all the rust detail and that with it. But with using the new Worn Effects by AK Interactive, as you saw from my last video, I'll be trying it with this and see how it works. Hopefully it'll work out like it did with the last video, because that floor and the whole section of the attic come out perfect. Now, I'm not a big believer in painting something you can't see. My old man taught me how to paint, and he was a big believer as well as don't paint what you can't see. But in this case, I will be, because if I place the diorama this whole section down, and it's not where exactly what I'll be, and you look under the base, I don't want to see grey bits anywhere. I just want it to be all neutral colours and that. So this section here is still gluing. I get very impatient sometimes when I'm building. I like to build my models quick. Something like this diorama usually takes me three days to paint and do, but in hours it's usually about 12 to 14 hours all up over that 3 day period. So yeah, it's not long once I get into it, because I usually do one diorama at a time. I don't like doing multiple unless I get bored with something straight away, but that's very, very rare. So yeah, just keep painting. This is one reason too, with the last video, I didn't show me painting everything, because I'll be honest, I think it's very boring watching someone paint. There's nothing worse than watching someone paint. If you're a newbie and all, yeah, go for it, watch it, no problems. But if you've been painting for years and years, we all know how to paint, so there's nothing worse. But I've had people go, oh, we want to see you paint and everything and how you do it. So here it is. Again, I'm not saying my painting methods are spot on, because they're not, because I'm very rustic when it comes to my dioramas. I like dirty, scummy, gritty feel to my dioramas, like in real life. Especially when it comes to like desert dioramas and all. Those that know me, I'm in the army, so I've been deployed twice over to desert regions, and I've seen what it can do to vehicles, personal equipment, etc. And the sand gets in everywhere. So, you know, that's why I like it, because it is that gritty feel to it, and it gives more realism, sorry about that, to the dioramas itself. And you can't muck it up, to be honest. I have done indoor themes and all that sort of stuff as well, but I'm a big sand tripper nut. I love sandies, and I just love doing sand dioramas. Absolutely love them. So yeah, so nearly finished with this. I'm not going to do this part here on the bottom here where my thumb is, as that's going to be actually into the groundwork, so that's not going to be a problem. And if you do miss a little bit, don't worry about it, because the actual last coat of I don't know if I'm going to do it grey or white yet. I might do it white just for something different, but I don't know yet. I'll wait till I go back into the garage and spray paint it. But yeah, you don't have to be perfect with this. So again, I do apologise too if I go out of focus or I go out of the camera shot when I'm painting. I'm still getting used to using a video. I was going to get a stand, but I decided not to because it's just a waste of money. I've got my camera sitting on some tubs and it works perfect, so yeah, why waste money? I can spend it on model kits or brushes and that. Now, if anyone's got a question too as well on how I do things, by all means email me at hemble@hotmail.com or leave a comment on my Facebook page at Hemble Creations and I'll answer it. I have no problems answering anyone's questions that they've got, good or bad. I think there's nothing worse when you see someone you like that does customs or modelling and then you email them, they don't answer. It's not too bad nowadays, but when I first started customizing, about 20 years ago, you know, everyone kept their little secrets to themselves. Why, I don't know, because usually it takes years to get to a state where that person you're talking to is at. So you're not going to learn their skills and that quick. So me personally, I like giving out information. The more people that do this hobby, the better for everyone, and it's a great hobby. It relaxes you. Oh, by means, yes, it does frustrate the shit out of you sometimes, but that's all the name of the game. Okay, I'm nearly finished this. Not too much to go, and as you can see, it's not the best paint job, and it doesn't need to be. Alright, it does not need to be, so don't worry about it if it's not the best paint job. I will go over this for one more coat with the brush, and the reason I do like using Vallejo paints is when you do give it the second coat, it doesn't leave streak marks. I've never had any streak marks in my dioramas or kits, which I think is brilliant. Okay, so yeah, Vallejo paints are fantastic. I can't fault them in any way. I mainly use all the military style paints because that's what I used to build before I got into customizing and sci-fi stuff, was military models, mainly German World War II. So yeah, it's good paint. Everyone's different. I do have Games Workshop paints here as well, or what they call themselves now, Citadel. I've got some acrylic paints from Artist Paints as well, but Vallejo paints are the ones that I do use. Okay guys, there it is. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because I don't want it perfect. Alright, so there it is. I'll be back after the last coat goes on, and we'll go back to the worn effects and work that out again. Talk to you later. Bye.